What's up guys, Kayla here, welcome back to another game on the Gwenology account. This time we're up against Shen. Runes should be on screen now. And today we are trying a very interesting setup out. As you guys can see, I have Ghost Poro. I saw a Chinese Aatrox player running Sudden Impact and Ghost Poro every game. And I figured that it was worth testing out on Gwen because Sudden Impact is actually a very solid rune for lane bullying. So if you go this very aggressive setup with Ignite, Sudden Impact, Ghost Poro, you can actually find some very easy solo kills and just accelerate your early game into a powerful late game. But here we're just chilling out in the wave because we're kind of unsure as to what Nunu's plan is. Yes, we know he's starting topside and he has a Chun on Raptors, so that is a little scary because he could go red buff into immediate level 2 top gank. But thankfully, as you guys will see in a second, he will show up on the Raptor ward. But let me explain what Ghost Poro does, because a lot of people haven't used it, myself included. This is like my 8th time ever using the rune across like 3,000 games. So basically, when you place a ward, when it fizzles out, it will leave a Ghost Poro there for the next 90 seconds, and if someone gets spotted on it, they will get danger pinged, and you will gain AP or AD depending on which type you are. And the good thing about it is you don't even need to spot anyone for it to give the AD or AP. It gives you an initial amount when the ward despawns, and then it gives you a secondary amount once the Ghost Poro spots someone. So the ideal situation is the Ghost Poro spots 10 targets and you get plus 30 AP in the span of like, I don't know, 18 minutes or so, which is insane. But typically, more often than not, it will be around like the 22-minute mark. And this is actually a very nice rune to learn how to ward more consistently. I have peaked masters, and even to this day I have a very bad habit of holding 2 wards in my inventory, and that just does not do anything for you. So if you are struggling with placing wards in ward timers, take Ghost Poro. You gain EP or AD for placing a ward. That's something you should already be doing, and you just get rewarded for it. Here we see Nunu on the bot side, so we are totally fine. Here, I would say, is a pretty big blunder from me. I should be putting this ward at the Raptor pit again, but I placed it at Krugs. This is a very dumb ward. I'm thinking, ooh, I need to proc my Ghost Poro, right? But we see Nunu recalling. His immediate response on his reset is he's gonna go either lane gank top lane with Snowball or do Krugs. And our ward does not die within that amount of time. Also, since we know he's resetting, we know that he's going to be topside. We know he's going to do this top lane gank or these Krugs, so this ward solves nothing. That ward is so much more beneficial on the Raptor, and since we got that push so quick, we had a timer to go do it. Yeah, the second Shen walks up, that tells me, okay, Nunu chose to press Snowball. And he's running at me right now at Mach 20 in the Fog of War. You can tell when you're about to get ganked just based off of the opponent's movement. There, the sudden impact damage is becoming very nice. We've procced it every single E-press. One downside... Oh, one sec. Flash from Shen. He did not need to. But one downside about sudden impact is it doesn't have a noticeable cooldown, and what I mean by that is a lot of runes and items will show a cooldown on your HUD. For some reason, Riot refused to give sudden impact that quality of life change when they slightly reworked it from a armor and magic pen rune into a true damage one. But thankfully, rank 1 Gwen E, when you immediately auto a target, puts it on a 10-second CD. So you do not need to keep a mental note of the sudden impact timing, because rank 1 Gwen E is a 1-to-1 for the sudden impact CD. So you're constantly getting sudden impact procs, and you don't need to worry about, oh, is it off CD or is it on? Am I going to lose damage, or am I about to gain an extra 40? Yeah, just look, plus 37 here, plus 40 after my next level. It's just a nice, consistent damage amp throughout the lane.
I'll break as many needles as it takes to get this.
But as I said a minute ago, look at that Ghost Poro. What is that doing? Really nothing. Shen TP'd bot. When Shen TPs, you are forced to shove your lane. I don't care if you have a freeze, if you're worried about enemy jungle covering, you must push the wave, if not to benefit yourself and get plates, to de-tilt the laner that got screwed over, because that Sivir was tilted. She was spam pinging me to push when I was already well ulting it. Because that's what Shen does. Like, it's a very annoying thing to do. Or to play against, sorry. It's very annoying to play against. So you need to make sure that you are, 1, punishing him to accelerate yourself, and 2, punishing him to de-tilt your allies. Because that Sivir was not happy about that situation. There I was considering the Sork boots, but we're just going to go into the Fiendish. Sometimes I like to pick up early Sork boots, but more often than not, I will do it on recurve bow purchase, because the component is just not good in a laning phase environment. It's really solid at clearing jungle camps and objectives, but in the lane you just don't really utilize it that well. So sometimes you might see me swap a recurve bow purchase for completing my tier 2s. Here Kha'Zix is looking for a very unnecessary gank. Like, I already have a massive lead, I have a freeze. I don't really need him, because even if he ganks here, my ult's not up, and we don't have any real stick potential to this Shen. Unless we have our ult. So Kha'Zix there is just wasting his time. He really should have just been on his camps cycling them, because I'm completely fine up here, right? Like, it's Shen versus Gwen. This is a very easy matchup, and this is a matchup that is just designed for you to win. Shen can win it early if you disrespect his early level 1, because he has one of the stronger level 1s in the game off of his shield and grasp procs. There we go, QE. Now here we see Nunu mid, so that tells me hard shove this wave and set up a proxy. Now we're not setting up this proxy to go for some crazy tower dive or anything. We just want to get a nice reset. That being said, in hindsight 2020, we should not have ignited, because we are never killing this Shen. That is a massive misplay from us. But the ult guarantees that we get the wave in scot-free and in a timely manner, because Qiyana theoretically could have moved up after this push, and if we didn't ult, Qiyana could just theoretically come get us. But here we're going to get Cirque Shoes and the dagger, because we can't really get to the Nashers anytime soon. Senna randomly shows top on my ward. Kind of surprised because Void Grubs aren't up for another 80 seconds, so I don't know why she's here so early if they really did want to play for the Grubs. Shen's gonna ult. Thankfully, Pyke, Kha'Zix take care of it. And Kha'Zix picks up the double. Unfortunately, though, Kha'Zix is playing a little bit too well for the solo queue environment, so he wanted to get himself a little snack on the Raptor pit, and he found a Nunu. Totally fine though, we pushed this in, Shen shows back up. I'm just walking down river, see what Nunu's up to. I want to place my ward here, because this is what you want to do with Ghost Poro. You want to make sure it's proccing. You want to put it in high traffic areas, aka not enemy Krugs like I did like 5 to 10 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago. I just noticed we were only 11 minutes into this game, and quite a bit's happened. There, we thankfully pick up the Nunu shutdown. And this here is a massive blunder. I don't know why I do this. If I recall now, sell D-Ring, I have enough for Nashers. But I don't know why I was so fixated on this D-Ring. I think it might be because I haven't been running Presence of Mind. Because the rune in laning phase is very bad. It's still very good in team fighting because you get a % of your mana back. But currently right now, at level 9, we're getting like, I don't know, 20 mana back. And that's just not a reasonable amount of mana to take the rune. Also, we have a blue buff. I don't need this D-Ring. I have 2 things that sustain my mana right now. I have blue buff for the next few minutes, and I have Presence of Mind for the rest of the game. So unfortunately, I overextend trying to stay for the 1050. And I find a Nunu and Shen in my lane. But don't worry, we will get our comeback on them. Right, here. We're gonna TP on this, try to get our revenge a little bit. Nunu's gonna try to go for the Kha'Zix. We're just gonna all in this Nunu and Shen. Thankfully, we placed our W down before getting taunted, so we had a very nice increase in our MR. I believe we had about 25 to 30 there. So we just easily tank the Nunu ulti for free. And we're able to push this wave now. Now, this is an unfortunate thing that happens here. Shen's gonna place ward. I ping assists me because I need Kha'Zix to help me push this in. Like, I need his help. He was on the Gromp when I pinged assist me, and now he's on his wolves. And unfortunately, because he doesn't come, I'm forced to walk up and try to crash this next wave, and we unfortunately die here. And that really tilts me. I remember, even running back, I am super, super annoyed at this Kha'Zix for doing that. Because it's like, I don't need a gank for damage, I just need him to stand there and look pretty. Because look at that mecha skin, man, that's gorgeous. I just needed him to go flex his wealth on this Shen, and he chose to island me. But because of that, I wasn't alive. Shen was able to get a free TP, and we are just trying to beeline to the top lane to try to secure this tower.
It's called the Hallowed Mist, but how it feels matters more. Warm, safe, like nothing can hurt me.
Unfortunately, Shen gets back in time because it did take us a pretty decent amount of time to get back up here. Now here is a situation that I really want to try to establish. I want to bait this Shen to taunt, and then we just immediately press all our buttons. Now, in the grand scheme of things, this is bad. In the short term, though, that guarantees the large rod purchase, and now I'm able to accelerate myself. So, the ideal situation there is you have your jungler come on the next wave, you push it in, you tower dive with him, it's a very nice, clean kill. That's not going to happen in solo queue a lot of the time, especially in the lower ranks, because junglers are not confident in dives. So a lot of the time you need to establish your own dives and your own picks. Thankfully, the wave is in a beautiful situation because we set it up to be like this. And because we went for that short-term burst of damage, being our large rod purchase, now Shen just can't play the game. It is impossible for him to match us now. We just deal too much damage in a short amount of time.
I promise.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
But here, we're just going to keep pushing, just keep pushing. Just like in Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, you push this in, you look for another play.
I remember when
Thankfully, this time we don't gotta concede our HP bar under his tower to do a play. The idea here is to look for enemy Krugs on after a proxy. We see that they are down. So my immediate reaction is, okay, proxy, and then go look deeper into the enemy jungle. But thankfully, Nunu just comes straight up into us, and unfortunately, they do not realize that Gwen is just one of the champions of all time in League of Legends. And there it is. Run over to the tower to make sure you get the proximity gold and just hard shove this in. We see Kiana mid, Wei and Senna are currently unknown because we weren't paying attention in this situation, but Wei is now showing mid and Senna is now showing mid. So literally no one on the enemy team can be here because Nunu's on respawn, Shen's on respawn, Kiana's recalling. So plus 700 gold, and we're gonna donate ourselves another cannon wave. And there we go, 2,600 gold. Now, ever since the nerfs happened, I still am a firm believer that Riftmaker is just not the way to go anymore. I think you just lose too much damage now throughout the extended fight to even try to play for the extended fight, due to the lack of passive damage you are doing throughout a very long period of time. So I prefer this Nashor's Tooth into Shadow Flame setup now, just every game, when it used to be like every 6 out of 10 games you'd go one or the other. But now you go Nashor's Shadow Flame, and if you can afford it, you just immediately slam the decap. You don't get the decap third because you want it third. You slam the decap third because you kind of have to. It's a very hard item to acquire early because it's 1,200 gold, 1,200 gold, and then 1,200 gold, all in 3 different instances. But when you can slam the purchase like this, you should always do it over Shadow Flame and then get it third, or just not at all if you need a lot of magic pen, like a Void Staff, or if you want to play for total tower destruction, you get a funny Lich Bane. I don't think that's optimal, but it's something you can do if you want to flex your wealth on the enemy team. There I see Shen immediately uses Taunt on our Kha'Zix. That tells me that they have no CC for me anymore. I'm just going to go collect this beautiful Nunu kill. I'm just not fearing Shen whatsoever, and he doesn't even notice what I'm doing to his backline right now. I try to go on Senna, she shrouds. Wei is going to whip his ult completely, and we're just going to pick up that kill for free. Senna thinks she can do something because she snared me, and it just does not matter. And then, just like earlier in the game, I overextend my lead, and we get easily punished. But there's 16 stacks out of the Ghost Poro. At 20 stacks, it immediately guarantees you the other 10. So we are 4 procs away. So theoretically 2 wards, because you get the Ghost Poro placement and then they can spot someone. So if we're lucky, in 2 wards, we have plus 30 AP. And then also 900 sudden impact damage at 19 minutes is a very nice amount to have. That is a super good amount for a rune like this. I don't think she's the greatest user of it. I think champs like Cassante and Vayne benefit just as much, if not more, just because their trade patterns are very toxic, and that's crazy coming from a Gwen player that can just press EW auto. But hers costs a lot more mana than Vayne Q auto or Cassante EQ, right? Speaking of toxic, this poor Wei, man. Dodging the last hit of the whale with the Rift Herald pickup, I still look back at that and think I was pretty slick with it. But here we're gonna reride the Shelly. Cannon Minion's gonna do some instant transmission. He was watching some Dragon Ball Z. And then I would like to get this inhibitor, but unfortunately Shen shows up. And while we are stronger than Shen, it's like, why waste, or sorry, not why waste. why risk our lead, right? Like, we've established such a massive lead, even with our massive mistakes. We just have so much economy on these guys. We have so much map presence. It's like, why run into their base with no ulti when we're half HP? And the answer is, just don't. Alright, now here the side lanes are just pretty evened out. The enemy team has their jungler gone. My team is hovering around the mid. I would just prefer us doing the Baron start. But thankfully, my team just is smarter than I am. They're able to mind control the Shen and just get a free pick. And then we do the same exact play that I wanted to do. So this is the best of both worlds. Ideally, your team just immediately goes to the Baron. And then if they try to face check you, then you pull the trigger on them. So that way you are either guaranteeing the objective in a short amount of time, or you are getting a free guaranteed pick because they have to walk in to a no vision area. Speaking of no vision, I was thinking that Nunu was going to walk to these Krugs and I was standing on no vision, but I think Nunu just had a ward here. I don't know who would have placed it, but he just did not want his Krugs. He was allergic to golems today. And he ends up showing up in the mid lane, getting half health to buy our Zoe. And here I'm thinking, okay, let's go for a nice little play and end this. But what you should do in this situation is hard shove top. Because if you hard shove top with a lead like this, you are forced to be matched by at least 2 to 3 people. So it allows your bot lane to not get Shen ulted in this situation, because if you were pushing properly like a smart player, Shen would have to currently be top and cover you. So the Pyke got caught out, but it's actually my fault for that situation to even occur. And it's like, what am I doing here anyway? It's like, I spent my time here to get procced by the last hit of Whale, right? And now I walk top, which I should have been doing 30 seconds prior. I can't do anything because the wave's too small, and Nunu's there with true damage to just eat minions. It's like, yeah, we picked the Kiana, but then what? And then again, we go top. What should we have been doing 45 seconds ago? The same exact play I should have been doing then. So this is a very bad macro misplay on my part, and it costs my Pyke his life. Thankfully, we're so far ahead it doesn't matter, but I'm pointing this out because this is a very clear misplay that I see in a lot of people's games that I coach, and even now I notice it in my own gameplay because I feel frisky, I want to go have some fun with TDM, but it's like, get the dub first. That's what matters. Getting that dub, getting that delicious LP so you don't have to be in your elo anymore. Because a lot of people do not deserve the rank they have. They just need 1 to 2 small tweaks and they can improve so quickly. So if you're ever interested in coaching, shoot me a DM on Discord. Just be sure to join my Discord so that way we have a shared mutual server so I can see that it's not like spam.
An ally has been slain.
But here again, the thing I should have done a minute and a half ago, confirming this tier 1 tower, forcing multiple people to come top. Look, we mind controlled the Kiana and the Shen to come up here, and the Wei and the Nunu. It's like, why didn't I do this a minute and a half ago? Because now look at bot, Sivir's confirming tier 3 tower. Got confused between tier 3 and 1 there. And now she gets the inhib. And that's a GG. That is a checkmate game state. If you look at the enemy team, the only enemy with wave clear is Wei. There is nothing else that can consistently wave clear. Kiana can somewhat do like the casters, but it's like she's not melting a super minion. It's like, look how long it's taking for them to clear just the cannon minion and then like 10 casters.
Called the hallowed mist, but how it feels
Here I have
matters
a
more.
very, very important purchase of Void Staff, and I say very important when I mean I want to see my dopamine number increase. This is the get the win first statement I was talking about. Now that we have the win, now we can have fun like I was when I was trying to play TDM mid. It's like these are the situations you can have fun when your team is securing a dragon. You're allowed to go get your Void Staff, and now you can go TP and do whatever you want. Yeah, we have 27 flat pen and 40% pen. We just dealt 400 damage in an auto attack to that Shen. And this poor Senna. Using our W early there, not just to dodge the Senna bind, but to also make sure we have resistances for the way if he is ballsy enough to go into our circle, which he was. I'll give him credit. He was a lot more aggro than most. Unfortunately, though, we have too big of a lead for it to matter, and that will be the game. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, sub, comment something about Bell, and I'll leave you guys to the end game stats later.
Just like the good old times. Sweet, simple,